morning. Sunday again. Time marches on, and back to working on Glowing Telegram. For lack of a better name, is what I'm still calling it. So last stream, what happened last stream? There's an idea for AI tool. Like when I go live and I'm opening up the tool, like the stream manager, it could have a thing with like a summary of the last stream. Wouldn't that be nice? Also, I need to fix it so it retains the Twitch session longer. But anyway, oh yeah, so we were doing FFmpeg stuff, right? So, I think I have that mostly figured out. I have not rolled it into an actual service yet. I decided, like, I think I described this a stream or two ago. We're like coming at this from like multiple different angles, approaching the same place, right? So we have the thing that's going to let us generate what the edits are, which I did some of that, right? I'm trying to think. Well, anyway, so figuring out like suggested edits, suggested highlights, those sorts of things, then being able to generate a cut list from that, being able to review the changes with our video editor UI. So I have that repo open. Yeah, this one. Glowing Telegram video editor. I think I have to maybe change this description because I think this is going to be just like a component. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, and so then we need to take the cut list that is generated by AI and reviewed by me, and then render that into an actual video, like taking in all the source videos, taking in the overlays and stuff. So that's what we were doing last stream, was figuring out how to make FFmpeg do that, and like making a script that would generate an FFmpeg command. And then we had previously implemented like uploading to YouTube. We're gonna have to revisit that and refurbish that. It's over on the list of things to review the plan for. We need to create some infrastructure, right, to run the code that we're going to write to transcode the videos before they're uploaded. We need to actually plug our video editor UI that we have into something. And I think for now, that's just going to be the existing Glowing Telegram front ends, right? So we'll do, I guess we'll do something where we go like into a stream, and maybe this timeline view will actually be that UI instead of this one. So this is broken. What happened here? That doesn't seem right. Some kind of sorting issue. Anyway, bugs. We got them. All right. Oh, interesting. We had 4 failures and a success. Why? See that in detail. So before the stream, I had started this job to, so I went into the UI and I went to edit and I clicked ingest videos, which opens this UI, which triggers our stub function through our API to be able to, yeah, I know, it's a lot, to be able to scan all of the video files from that stream and trigger the transcription and all that stuff. So I'm curious about what failed. This task failed. Okay. I guess it's been a while since I've ran this then. our Lambda wasn't ready to be invoked, and that happens sometimes. So the good news is with the step function, we have some retries. So it kept retrying until the Lambda became available again. It had to be resurrected. Code artifact user pending exception. Yeah. Oh, cool. So that is normal. I've not seen that here before, but that is a normal thing that happens with Lambda. If you have something that's very infrequently run, or you've not run it for whatever reason in a long time, it can take a little time for it to be available to be invoked at all. And this is on the scale of like a month, right? Anyway, so that's just me getting reoriented into where the project is. And right now, so like I said last stream, I did make some progress on this Python script. I think there were some loose ends at the end. One thing was I removed like the additional audio adjustment options. I decided I wasn't going to need that because of the way I'm going to be doing the transition and the transition to the outro. The outro actually I added audio directly to so that it can be used as is without any exceptions. And there might have been one or two other things. I did some refactoring of this code. I don't know that I'm actually going to end up using this code as is. Maybe. I think I left a note here saying basically that to do convert this to TypeScript or Rust, because we have types that are being generated for that. And I don't know that I don't have that tab open anymore. I don't know if quick types, right? Quick type. What languages? Yeah, options. There we go. Python apparently is an option. Okay. So it makes a class. And add some fancy thing. How about just classes only? There we go. Okay. That is not something I necessarily care about. Oh, I see. So this like from string is instance string return x to class. Suggestion request from dict. Okay. Interesting. Well, I could use that, I guess. We can add that to the set of things that we're generating. If I decide to go down that path, I'm deferring that for now, and that's why we're working on something else. So something I think that came up, maybe it was last stream actually, because we were talking about this ffmpeg command and all this stuff, and we're talking about the issue that we ran into. It's been months now, right? Working on the video editor, of like it being able to, like I was custom coding something that would take a list of videos and it would play one, and then if you advance the time, it would advance into a second video, like, and it would change the video source URL dynamically. And Brainless brought up something, and then I did some reading. Our wonderful community member Brainless Society, to be clear about what I'm talking about, mentioned HLS, and that kind of got me on a path. One of the things I did in a little bit of an update to the video editor, I found this library called hls.js, and it's a really nice little plug and play. Like the change is actually really small, much smaller than I was anticipating it being, to support taking what is essentially, it's like a playlist file that contains a list of links to individual sections of video, and this library, I was able to also a bunch of refactoring while I was at it. I realized I'd left kind of our conversion of components into this atomic design style, layout, structure. So I completed that because that actually turned out to be very easy looking at it again after some time away from it. But the main thing was the video player component, which is here in molecules, right? So we import HLS and we have a use effect that says, hey, when video or video URL change, if we have a video, go ahead and instantiate HLS, load the video URL and attach it to the video. This may not be bulletproof looking at this again. Like, maybe this is something where there should be one use effect for the video and then another one for the video URL. And then we have maybe a ref that holds HLS. It's worth thinking about. And if it's worth thinking about, I will create an issue to look at this in the future. Consider if there's a better way to integrate JS here. Some words. Two use effects. Ref for HLS objects. Yeah. And that can go somewhere in there. Okay. So, not that long of a story, but a slightly shorter version is that, yeah, so just some quick checks and just the existing video element. I had to not do a lot because I already had the ref for the video element. So easy peasy. And some warnings from Biome. Oh, what was really funny. So, I mean, this file doesn't exist because it doesn't exist in the repo anyway. But when I was doing this and before I just started making changes here, I actually made a separate component that was just like a test HLS video component that I wired in. And I had Copilot basically write it for me, right? And when it did that, it did it with this M3U8 URL, right? So this is essentially what it says. It's a playlist. So like if you look at this file, it's a lie. No. Oh, I didn't copy the 8. Can we? Okay, we can't just. Anyway, so it's just a text file. It has some like things that look like comments that are part of this format. Here I have links to documentation, M3U on Wikipedia, and to RFC for that matter. So it has like this file header, and it has this ext info that has things like the duration of each separate video in the playlist, effectively. And there's additional optional things. There's a whole RFC about this, right? But anyway, basically with that thing added in to the video editor, it just takes the set of files and it does the thing that I was going to do, which is like as you play the video, it just switches between the different sources of the underlying files. It also, so the way the HLS stuff though works is that the video files are these .ts files, which they're not TypeScript, but they're like some kind of MPEG-2 something. Anyway, a special format. The library supports it, makes it work with the video element, and has a bunch of other features that I don't care about right now. But anyway, so yeah, just it was very plug and play. So when Copilot generated the URL, I was like, "Is this real?" And it was like a Blender Foundation video or something. Anyway, it just worked. So this became a longer story. Moving on. What I need to do then, right? So if I have the video editor that supports this, having a playlist file and having then the media files, then a thing that I want to do is to be able to pull up the VOD, but not the VOD on Twitch. I have the local recording that I've then uploaded to S3. I want to play that, but those files are all MKV, Matryoshka, container, whatever format that OBS is set to record at. So I need to transcode it. I need to transcode it into this HLS format. So I figured out how to do that and implemented that. So that was this first thing here. So we have a pull request. Implement video transcoding functionality. And the way I've decided to do this is I'm just transcoding to like 480p. It doesn't need to be high resolution to do the transcoding because, well, it doesn't. It's just like a preview in the video editor so I can see what's going on. So low resolution is fine, I decided. So I made another step in the video ingester. So this is the thing that gets triggered usually when I upload the file to S3. Like after the stream, I have a command that I run on my computer that takes the video files that are stored locally and uploads them to S3. I guess I could make like maybe I could do other things, but this is how it works right now. And then when those files appear in S3, it triggers an AWS batch job that runs this, the compiled version of the video ingester. So what I did was a little bit of refactoring, but I added this transcode task. And what it does is that when it gets its result, it stores that. Oh yeah, okay, that's normal. It stores the path to where each individual video file is and the duration. Because those are the two things that the what is it called? The M3U8 file needs, right? So we store that information in DynamoDB along with all the other information about each video file, presuming that once we've done that for all the videos and we've linked the videos together into the stream, which is what this process does, right? It finds all of the, when it's done, it finds all of the objects, all the files in S3 for this stream based on the prefix that we provide, which is I guess it's embedded inside of the stream ID, right? So all of these things from the 29th. So it found all of these and it went through all of them and it, did all the things that we expect it to do, right? So like the transcription. So I guess I was talking about cores. And there's a lot. There's a lot of data there, but anyway, we're done with that. So if I refresh this, now we have a stream ID on the DynamoDB record for this video file, and we have all of our other things. And so the new thing here is this transcode. And so this is a list of maps with paths and durations. So, okay. That was 20 minutes of me giving background to explain what the next step is. Which is, we need an API endpoint that is going to generate the M3U8 playlist file by not scanning S3. That's out of date. By looking in DynamoDB. I wish I could like edit this from here, but no. Edit by scanning. DynamoDB. And I think that should be pretty easy. I think I made a global secondary index on this table to look for things by stream ID. So we can kind of like manually do the query that this would otherwise do. Stream ID index. And then we can select which attributes we want. So we want key and I click add attribute, don't I? What was the thing that I added just now? I don't even need key. I don't care about key. I care about transcode. So if I run this, so there's only one item returned because the process that does the stream ingestion doesn't re-invoke the video ingester unless certain things are missing from the records, and the records had those things. It doesn't know that I decided that I don't want to have this try to reconstruct the transcode for now. We can fix this, but I think what I'll do for now is I'm just going to do it this way, right? Where I'll just have one of the videos, right? Because these are like, the MKV files are 20-minute long videos from a 3-hour stream. So there's a bunch of them. Right now I've only done one, just as a proof of concept, and you can see the record here. Apparently you can't expand upon this, but yeah, you can see it's a list of things with duration and a path. And this is the key for the object in S3, and these should be correctly ordered. And the idea is that I guess what we'd want to do is we would actually want to pull through the key as well. We would do this query. Oh, there we go. Now we can see everything. And then we would sort the results based on the key. And then we would concatenate all the transcode together. So that's going to be the logic, right? So we do this query, put in code. We sort the results by the key, because it's not going to be that lot. And then we concat all of the transcode arrays together. And then we use that to make our playlist. And that should be it. So then the question is, where is this endpoint going to live? Do we have a function where, or a Lambda function where it makes sense to plug this functionality in, or do we make a new Lambda? So what Lambdas do we have is a question. All right, finally getting into VS Code. So we have a few Lambdas. We have our AI chat Lambda. Audio transcriber is not a Lambda. That's our a batch job program. Front end is still here for some reason. I could have sworn I deleted this. It keeps coming back. Let's try that. Yeah. Oh, hey, look, node modules exist in there again for some reason. It's weird. Probably like Docker stuff I have left locally. That must be it. Yeah, I need to probably clean up my Docker containers locally. They're trying to do stuff in front end. TwitchBot is something we will come back to at some point in some form. Although, well, that's a tangent. Things I've learned since then about things you can do to integrate with Twitch's chat. Provide some opportunities, let's say. We have our Twitch Lambda. Video ingester is not a Lambda. Summarize transcription is the Lambda. It would be somewhat convenient if I suffix these with like Lambda or maybe Lambda underscore or something, or put them all into a Lambda folder. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's fine. There's not that many things. CRUD API is a Lambda. So, do I make a new deployable Lambda function for this API, or do I guess there are three options, right? I can piggyback off an existing Lambda, although there's nothing that really feels like it's in the same kind of purpose. And why does that matter? Well, there's something to be said for having multiple endpoints being handled by a single Lambda in terms of keeping warm containers. Like if you have our CRUD API has like getting a list of things, getting a single thing, updating a thing, all those endpoints that are related. And if you're doing one thing, you may be doing those other things, and you already have a warmed Lambda that's out there running. And if you need like multiple, like if you need to call it concurrently, Lambda will provision multiple containers and invoke them and this sort of stuff. So why not just put everything into one Lambda? Well, there are limits on how big the payload, the deliverable, deployable thing for a Lambda function can be. At one point, I think with one of the Lambdas, because I wasn't stripping the binary before packaging up and deploying it, it was too big. So that's a real possibility. So we can't put everything. We can't put the kitchen sink into a single Lambda. There are other reasons besides limits on how big it can be in terms of the binary, like permissions, right? If you have everything in one Lambda, that Lambda needs all the permissions. Now, if you have some kind of security vulnerability, for thinking about things in those terms, then you have all of your eggs in one basket. You have one thing that does all the things and has all the permissions. That's a lot of surface area to give all the permissions to. There are considerations around maybe you want some endpoints to have like provision concurrency, or you want to give more CPU or less CPU, right? So you can tune things if they are in separate Lambdas and separately deployable. You wouldn't be able to do that. You would have to say, well, I have one endpoint that needs a lot of resources, so this Lambda has to have a lot of resources all the time. So anyway, lots of considerations there. And I think that's a lot of those things are true even outside the context of Lambdas. Containerized services, just services running on a VM, different scales. It's the same kind of problem that you have to be thinking about. So yes, although it's much easier, right? If I just go into CRUD API and add an endpoint. So that's option one. Option two, I'll say, I could just go into my infrastructure code, and I have an example of this already where it's like, look, this thing is really simple what it needs to do, right? It's just a couple of lines of Python to like glue things together. So I can just make the Lambda function inline in my infrastructure code and deploy it like this. Is this going to be like that? Maybe, actually, thinking about it, right? It's getting a DynamoDB table, doing a scan, and sorting and putting everything into text. I think it would be like maybe comparable size to this. So we could do something like this, where we just define the Lambda, inline and do it. Looking at this now, one thing that strikes me, I mean, I guess this is fine because this construct is pretty narrow in focus. It's like it's this event rule and this lambda. But I think if I were to do like an inline lambda for like a one-off purpose like this, I would want to make a dedicated construct to kind of isolate it. So we could do that. And option 3 would be I would create a new folder in my project with a new Docker file, because I really like doing Dockerized Lambdas for a few different reasons. One of which being that, you know, basically the deploy process, like in terms of like in the infrastructure code, like when we look at doing one of these Lambdas for an API, well, I have this service Lambda construct, and it just needs to know the name of the repo, the ECR repo where the Docker image is, and then it all just works the same, right? So this this Lambda could be Python, could be Rust, could be TypeScript, Node, you know, whatever, and then infrastructure doesn't need to know anything about that. It's just a Docker image. So there's something to be said for that, right? What's the downside to making a folder and doing all that? And well, it's just it's extra work that I could have been doing this whole time instead of talking about it. Let's see, what would we call this folder? What is the format called again? M3U8 or something? M3U8. So we could do something like M3. Oh, I clicked create new file. I'm always doing that. New folder. M3U8 playlist Lambda. Does this make sense? Like that name is a very narrow scope, and that's fine. It could be renamed later. But is this more generically? Could this like be media lambda? I like that. Language-wise, there's something to be said for Python in terms of turning around something really quickly, not having to worry about setting up cargo, etc. So let's do that. Let's do like main.py. I'm feeling like Python today. Make a Docker file. So tasks.json. I have a task to be able to build and deploy containers, right? It does this. It needs a service name, so we're going to add this as media lambda. Check. And push. I guess this would be, looking at this, the potential downside of, oh, let's make a new service, but we'll use a different language. Is that what if our build infrastructure isn't really set up for that? And the good news is, well, because it's all pretty, you know, it's just Docker, it should be able to handle whatever we throw at it, right? So if we just add a new section here for media lambda, and right now we don't have a function name or a ECR repository. We can make an ECR repository. So, right. So then we go back to our infrastructure code. Where is it? Repo stack. There we go. And here's our list of ECR repositories. We make a new one. And cdk export AWS profile, cdk diff repo stack. It should show me what this would change, which should be it will add ECR repository. That is redundant, like ATM machine. An elastic container repository, an EC repository, an ECR. None of those sound as satisfactory as an ECR repository. Look, he even says it right there. ECR repository. Okay, so we're going to deploy that. And while that's doing that, we'll just move on, right? So I'm updating my shell script that basically what this does is it makes sure I'm logged in with Docker login. It triggers a build of the service. It tags it and it pushes it to the right ECR repository. And then if it has a function name, it triggers an update of the Lambda. The Lambda doesn't exist yet, so excuse me. So that will be a later thing. So, I don't know, from Python? What version of Python? Latest? Let's see what Copilot is going to give me. It's not like there's a build process here. Sure. Well, there is no requirements.txt, so haha. Let's see. Since this is... Oh, I don't think we want to do that. We want to do what we're doing the other ones. Hold on. Let me do some Googling. Let's see, AWS, Lambda, Python, Docker. First result. Okay. Right, so you can use a non-AWS based image, but then you would need to include the runtime interface for Python, or we can use a AWS based image. So there we go, like this. There are many. Okay, we'll just do Python 3. It's probably fine. So here we go. Here's an example of how to actually do this. Python 3, copy. I called it main.py. So we'll do that. And then we'll say main.handler. And we're done. I think so anyway. And then yeah, we just need a function called handler. Def handler. Hello from Media Lambda. There we go. Brilliant. Is there... Here's a thought. Let's see. AWS Lambda Python types. logging. Could do that. Okay, never mind. It was just a thought. All right, so, and that deploy is done. So if I run this build and deploy container for media lambda, womp womp. Okay, I messed something up. Oh yeah, there's supposed to be 2 semicolons here because shell magic. That's just how it works with the switch statement. All right. Oh, it didn't like that. Curious. Failed to solve. Failed to compute cache key. Failed to calculate checksum. Main.py not found. Okay. What does it mean? It's right there. What am I missing? There's something really obvious that I'm just not, it's not occurring to me. File, copy. How does this work? Copy file and directory, yeah? Source to dest. From SRC and adds them to the file system image, right? So one would think do that. Is that better? Have I ever seen such an error? Yeah, file permission encrypted, large build context. I have a Docker ignore file or something. Docker ignore, and I'm telling it to ignore Python files. Could that be it? env, no. .env, dsstore, VS Code, old things, node modules. No, okay. That was a thought. Yeah, this should be a copyright, not an ad. Or should it be an ad? Copies new files or directories from SRC and adds them to the file system image of the path dest. So what's the functionally similar, slightly different purposes. Differences between copy and add. And a copy function similar. Copy supports basic copying files in a container for build context or from a stage. Add supports features for fetching files from remote locations. You'll mostly want to use copy from one stage to another. If you need to add files from the build context temporarily to run a run instruction, you can often substitute copy with a bind mount. Add is best for when you need to download a remote artifact as part of your build. This is interesting. So this is a use case, and this is a use case. But what about the one in between? Let's see what this does. Okay. What am I doing wrong here? Media Lambda. Right? So we do all this stuff. When you get down here. Oh. Right. This. Right. I understand. Important to remember that the Docker build command that I'm running is from the glowing Telegram folder, not inside of Media Lambda. So I think this is correct. Ta-da!
Brainless Society just subscribed for 14 months.
14 whole months. Thank you for the resub, Brainless. How's it going on this hopefully fine Sunday morning? I don't know. I've not actually looked outside. Yeah, it's still out there. All right. All is well. Excellent. Excellent. Finally got something working. So happy. All right. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, I also finally got something working. Such a silly thing, but I want to implement that. Yes. Silly thing, you say? Sometimes I feel like this whole project is kind of a silly thing, but maybe it'll turn out to be something really. I mean, it's pretty cool, and I bet your thing is pretty cool too, even if it seems kind of silly. I, of course, am curious, but you don't have to say anything about it in detail. I know I have to be very circumspect. I'm assuming you're talking about like a thing for work, is my assumption. Oh, yeah, looks like I was right. It's a time sense component for the logs view of the Mox application I developed. Thus, it will write things like 3 months ago. Yes. Those have I don't think I've ever implemented one of those. I've always like gone to find some kind of library. As it's a live view component, it just sends the diff through the WebSocket. Interesting. So the diff of, so is it doing the generation of the text from the time on the back end and then sending the diff of the text? Like, change 3 to 4? Or correct? Okay, that's interesting. Right. What am I doing? Oh yeah. So we have a Lambda, that does nothing. Most of the time, just sends the number. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Sometimes sends the number and something like hours ago, right? If like the scale changes. Sure. Okay, so we have the Lambda. I think the next logical thing to do is hook up the API endpoint to call the Lambda, and then we can go back and actually implement it. Let's say that's how we'll go about this. So let me hide some things. So we need to go into API.ts and we'll make a new Lambda. At some point, this file will get too big, and then I will split it, but now is not the time. We called this, let's set up the media Lambda. Yeah, I don't know why that started commented, but sure. Also, this is not the way I want to do this. I want to use my construct, service Lambda construct. And then it generates a bunch of stuff that's wrong. What do I actually need here? I think I just need the video metadata table. And I want the streams index. I guess I'm gonna call it, I'm just gonna be like stream ID index. There we go. How long at most should this Lambda take to do this? It should be normally less than a second. I will budget 10 seconds. Otherwise things have gone very wrong. At least for the use case that I know about for this Lambda, right? Going back to like, do we make a new Lambda? Do we update an existing one? Right? So, hopefully all the uses of this Lambda will be about kind of medium metadata, not like downloading a file. Okay, so then we need an endpoint. So we're gonna modify, we're gonna add a route. Let's go down here to the bottom. Get playlist dot, there we go. You can just do that, right? And we'll have a nice URL that looks like a file. Do we hate this? I kind of don't like that because it doesn't seem very RESTful. There we go. We'll just do that. Path should be that. Method should be get. And we're not specifying the authorizer for each endpoint. We must have a default one. That seems fine. Okay. So is that it? So we should have an endpoint that we can get, that will get the playlist. We haven't actually implemented the Lambda code to do anything other than print, but that's fine. Oh yeah, let's deploy that. Is that app stack? What else do we need to do? So I will want to let's see, what is this? Permissions for the new Lambda. Allow allows the Lambda to be invoked by API gateway and allows it to interact with X-ray. Actually, we do want to add some additional permissions to the Lambda here. Do we have the table, the video metadata? There it is. Grants read. Is that going to be enough? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so now we deploy. So then I think the next step is we can... I probably will just simulate... Like, I don't want to have to change the front end to test calling the API, so I'll probably just directly invoke the Lambda with a simulated payload, and we'll see that it, spits out whatever we pass into it, and then we can actually implement some Python code to generate a whatever this file is, this HLS playlist. All right, it's been an hour. I'm taking a break. I'll be back in a few minutes with some more of this. So, be right back.